In the NBA, all right, we have a huge matchup coming up, man. 76ers versus Denver Nuggets. Of course, anybody knows I am a huge 76ers fan. And we're taking on the Nuggets. Nuggets are number 1 in the West. Philly is number 2 in the East. And we're facing off, man, the 2 best big men in the league. Right now, they are saying that, and this is going down Saturday, they're saying that Jokic is the front runner for MVP. Again, for a third time. And Embiid is not on the list just yet. I have absolutely no idea how or why not. But yeah, what are your thoughts, man?
I would initially think there would be some voter fatigue in going for Jokic again, but if they're at the top of the West, that's probably different because he's won it and they haven't been at the top of the West.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's as long as they keep at the top. And our preseason guy was Luka, but if they don't make a real push to get maybe one of the top 2 seeds in the West, and I don't know that they're gonna, that might put a little damper on his campaign for MVP.
Yeah, Dallas have been slipping, man. They're 3-7 in the last 10. They're currently tied for 7th with Utah. And to be specific, Phoenix, Dallas, and Utah are all tied or within 0.5 games. So that's a very close race there. But yeah, they have to. Yeah, he's going to have to get at least to the 3 line.
Get
to
up
have
there.
a real shot.
I agree.
And they're not incredibly far from that. They're about 3 games out from that, so that's not bad. But with Embiid, man, I mean, he's right there. They're second in the East, and that's a close race as well because Milwaukee and Brooklyn are right there. But he's basically leading the league in scoring. Him and Luka are like neck and neck. 0.1 separates them both. Of course, he's going to have the blocks, and I don't know. But I'm gonna tell you one thing. Last year, I did think Embiid should have won the MVP,
and I agreed with you.
But I understood why and how Jokic got it. Because they played each other head to head, and Denver won.
Okay.
Now the matchup was completely even. You know what I mean?
Individual matchup.
Embiid had more points, but Jokic had more assists. Like it was even when you look at the box score.
Right.
But Denver won the game, right? And that was the last game before people had to vote. That matters, man.
Yeah.
Head to head matchup, and when you win an MVP in the NBA, that leaves. For lack of better terms, a stain or a memory in those voters' heads.
Well, when things are very close, and the reality is like if you at any given moment you take the top 5-6 guys in the NBA, you're splitting hairs.
Yeah, man.
They're all great players, and so again, you kind of go, okay, well, points were close, this were close, that were close. Well, he was 2-0 against them in the actual game. Like, anything can separate it at that point. Or like we're saying with Luka, well, he's had a great year. Jokic has been great, but Jokic is number 1 in the West, and you're number 6. Give it to Jokic. I mean, it's almost like tiebreakers in a playoff situation where it's like, okay, how far down and how obscure do we have to get to separate these guys?
Yeah. And Kobe asking, what's the line? The line not out yet, but whatever the line's going to be, I'm going to be all on top of it. You better believe that, man. Philly and Brooklyn is in a tight game right now. Philly's only up 2. And I was so mad I had to miss that game, but I couldn't miss talking about Bethune again tonight.
That's right.
But Philly is up 2 with 13 seconds left.
Whose ball?
And it is Philly's ball.
Okay.
So, of course, Brooklyn has to
gotta hit some free throws.
But they're going to, shout out to our boy Ben Simmons. He's now
he's our boy.
For the last,
you've been dumping on the guy for years now.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. Something is wrong with me. I'm sick because I really enjoy his struggles. Literally.
No, I'm the same way.
I'm sick. No. I'm gonna tell you how sick I am, man.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you how sick I am.
Go ahead.
There, for me, the greatest joys in life. A is getting head. And 2B is Ben Simmons struggling. And I really thought about this like a week ago. I sat down, I list things out. That's how sick I am. I did this literally.
I'm probably sicker. The people that are on my shit list, I will just randomly have moments during the day where I envision myself watching them die.
Oh, Trump probably made that.
And those moments fill my heart with joy. It's like I literally want to watch this person die.
Oh man, Kobe's dying hilariously at that, man. But no, that's true, man. But yeah, so that's what's going on with that. I thought that was a big game. All eyes should be on that, and it's day before the NFL playoffs, so you can get there and you can watch it. All right, now the All-Star voting, really quickly here. Bam is complaining about the fan voting, and we hear this maybe every other year or so, and they've changed it. The NBA listens to their fans because they change it. Remember, the fans had a bigger voice. Now they changed it to a smaller percentage or something like that. But Bam is still saying that a lot of those guys that are on the list shouldn't be there. But, because sometimes the initial list, because I think the first voting that is allowed is the fans. So you'll find, like back in the day, that's when, what's the guy with the Lakers? Caruso used to be on there.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say Yao would always get,
even after he had
all
played.
Of China would be voting for him. It's just the numbers, man.
Yeah. So it's weird things like that. But Bam is having a good season. He's going to make the All-Star team. I think, why complain if you know you're going to make the All-Star team? You know you shouldn't be a starter because
Bam feels some kind of way because he's not a sexy player.
Like
he's
the way he plays?
He's not. Yeah, his game is not. He doesn't have the ball in his hands a ton like most of the other all-star caliber guys do.
Yeah.
And he feels kind of insecure in that place because he knows he's never going to be at the top of these fan votes.
Yeah.
And then it's going to rely on the coaches to get him in. But my advice to Bam is accept what you are and be comfortable in your own skin.
That's it.
Like people respect you, like they do, or you wouldn't even be in the mix for this all-star thing. And people that matter, people inside basketball respect you. And that's more important than, what the random fan does.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure. All right. Two teams really quick one is the Lakers. The other is Portland Trailblazers. Really quick, since Portland Trailblazers are closer to home here, probably technically as well, right?
Yeah.
Portland Trailblazers are in trouble, man. We kind of knew that heading into the season, but even just projecting right now, they're in the 12th seed, so they're down there.
Well, they got a nice start to the year. So I mean, it's how bad they've been recently is like really bad because they were
hot
several games above 500 at the beginning.
And this is the problem that they have is the roster. You have Dame surrounded by a lot of young guys, and Jeremy Grant with nurses. That's not a lot of avenues for improving this team. Now, if you're Dame, Dame got the bag. I don't think he can be worried about what the team is, how good the team is around him, because he knew the situation before he got in there.
Yeah.
The only guy that has trade value that you would want to trade is Jeremy Grant. And how much is he actually going to get back for you? You're not moving Anthony Simons. He's the only bridge to a post Dame for you having something on that team from a guard perspective. And then they have their rookie Shaedon Sharpe. He's not getting enough time to really know exactly what he's all about.
Yeah.
What can you do with this roster, man?
Not much.
It's not much, man.
No.
And nobody's coming to Portland in free agency.
Yeah. That is, I mean, Portland's situation is the argument against the small market team. In that you're here, you've never truly bottomed out since the Greg Oden pick, and so you're kind of always fringe playoff, whatever. So you're not getting the absolute cream of the lottery, where you're potentially drafting a franchise-altering player, and you have no cachet in the free agent market. People are not going to go there, and you had the good fortune of getting Dame Lillard, who's kind of carried the franchise, and C.J. McCollum was a great player. They had good but not great. And they're just stuck where they are, and that's they don't have the pieces or assets to move. They don't have a second star or really even maybe a superstar. If Dame Lillard, he's a very, very good basketball player. He's a star. He for me is not a superstar.
No,
and I think that's a big gap. And I think that when you look at this team, that's why they're where they are.
Yeah, and the biggest problem with him not being a star, so before this season, I just don't see how that organization can say, hey, we're gonna make a playoff push with Jeremy Grant, with Simons, and with Justice Winslow, and I think what they should have done, and it's not even like whatever hindsight or whatever, they should have traded Dame to bottom out, man. Get in the Wembanyama sweepstakes, because even if, first of all, if you get him and you pair him with the Simons and the Grant, now you're cooking. But even if you miss out on him, you're in such a better place than just barely missing. You're not even going to make the play-in. Like that, but you're not bad enough to receive a top 5 pick. That's terrible.
Well, I mean, you could get lucky with the lottery. That's the one thing you could do.
You would have to get extremely lucky.
You're not at 12, like you said. You're not going to be in the play-in games, and maybe it gets a little worse. Maybe they're 13th by the end of this, and what is 13th though? Isn't that basically a 7th or 8th pick?
But the problem is that's just in the West, right? So the lottery is both conferences combined. So right. you have what, 3 teams under them, but then you go to the East. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 teams under them. So you're not going to get lucky in the lottery. And that's just if the season. That's just if it's in it today, right? Well, it could change.
What I said is kind of true. I said if it gets a little worse, maybe you're 7 or 8.
Worse. Yeah.
And whatever, you take your chance. I mean, that's why they have the lottery.
Yeah.
So it's not just purely the worst team.
Yeah.
A lottery's a loaded system, whatever. But maybe they do. And even if you get Scoot, you got something special.
Even if you do.
So I mean, it's really tough if you don't draft and maintain a superstar. Like, it's tough to build a team in those markets.
Yeah.
And they've had Dame for the length of his career. It hasn't gone anywhere. The Magic are a team. They've had high picks. They haven't even had anybody at the level of Dame Lillard.
Yeah.
And they're just in purgatory because of that. And nobody, despite Orlando not having a state income tax and a couple of other good climate, like, people don't want to come here to play.
Yeah.
It's just a very difficult situation. I mean, and you look at Houston, they had Jalen Green was a high pick, Jabari Smith's a high pick, but they're not the guy.
No.
They're just treading water.
They are, but they're going to be in the beyond sweepstakes as well. So
yeah, for sure.
They're just taking to be taken. But yeah, we'll definitely see. I just thought that was just something to note there.
Yeah.
Especially with our guy Anthony Simons.